I think all the success you're having is the grass that's on your wall.
You know it. There's something about it.
I think I'm going to get some grass on my walls.
It's cool. It's like 70, $80 on Amazon.
I can see why.
You get 100x ROI on it. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I think we're live. Hold on, let's have a look.
I'm just trying to be cool like you. You got that light in the background.
Yeah, I got that
One
one
thing in
light.
the room.
Uh, I only got it because someone was giving out. They're like, "Your room is too bland." I was like, "Hey, buddy, if I'm worried about my backlight and I'm worried about my backdrop,
Yeah.
that's why you're fucking retarded."
That's why you're making no money.
But it is true, though. It is true.
To a certain level. Yeah.
I
I mean,
have to
I
come across some way presentable.
yeah. I came from the entertainment industry, and so I enjoy that stuff. So that's why I have it. But like I used to just be on a blank wall. That's perfectly fine.
Entertainment? What do you mean?
Yeah, I used to be in the music industry, so did lots of studio work and like shoots and video shoots and music videos and all kind of good stuff.
Did you?
Um, I, I was more on the audio side of things than anything, so I was what's called a mastering engineer. It's fun stuff.
Shit, we're good to go. Okay, I am with my very, very good friend all the way over in Texas. Where in Texas are you actually?
I'm in Houston.
Houston, Texas. Shit, why did you tell us to run an event in Austin, then, you mad bastard?
Well,
What?
Austin is fun. Houston is lovingly referred to as the armpit of Texas. It's just hot, humid, gross. It's a good place to live, but not a good place to visit. Austin's a good time though.
Gross. What a word.
Yeah.
What a word. But I'm with my very, very good friend Christian Jack. Christian Jack has been working with us for the last number of months. When did you actually sign back up actually? It was about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, give or take.
Yeah, yeah. I just started my fourth month, so yeah, like 3 months ago officially.
Good. So in that time, we've obviously, helped a lot and grown a lot and developed a lot and trained a lot, which has been awesome. Just wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you today, just to kind of more so to give you the floor, more so to kind of allow people see the work, that you've been doing and the success that you've been having, because I'm really impressed and I'm really, I suppose appreciative of all the work that you're doing,
Mm.
because there's nothing that I like more and there's nothing that I respect more than people that do the work and have what we want them to do and commit to it for themselves and their family and really really push on. So firstly, a big welcome. Let everybody know who you are, where you are, what you're from, and just give us a bit of a backdrop of how you ended up in sales and where the fuck you are today, I suppose.
Yeah. So what's going on, Christian Jack? I'm a closer, remote sales professional, whatever. I got into sales in February of 2022 from being in the music industry and doing a couple of different things, but my primary role was I was a high school choir teacher.
Yeah.
So I was dealing with a bunch of kids on a day to day basis. And I essentially got into sales and into closing and into this whole mad space
Mm.
for freedom. The, cliche three different freedoms, right? Financial, time, location freedom. I just didn't like being tied down to the office. Didn't like only making, you know, 2 grand a month. Um, didn't particularly enjoy having to like be at the place and doing the thing and that basically dictating the rest of my life. Like the time that I was spending day to day, the
Yeah.
places I could go, all that kind of good stuff. So I
How long
got
were
into
you,
sales for
how long were
that.
you teacher for?
About 6 months.
Oh shit.
6 months.
Quite,
Yeah.
quite,
I
no,
got out of college with my music degree, taught for
no.
6 months, and decided it wasn't the thing for me.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So you spent all that money on a college degree and then came out the other side and was like, I actually don't want to do this.
Yep.
Did you not have that inclination when you were fucking going through all the stuff in college, no?
No,
I
I
was too
really
busy
enjoyed
drunk
it.
out of your mind.
I really enjoyed what I was doing in college, and then it was just different once got out into the workforce.
So tell me, so you got into the workforce, you got into our world in 2022, you said, is it?
Hmm.
Okay. So what was that like coming into this world, coming from coaching and, steering kids around the fucking classroom all day. What was it like coming into this world?
I mean, it was lots of stress for the first couple of months. Was trying to figure out like how to be on an offer, had a bunch of different kind of shit hit the fan with a few different people.
Mm,
Um, and so then I started investing into my own training and was like, well, if it's not working out, maybe it's just that I need some skills. I need some sort of experience because I had no sales experience before that at all. So I started investing into different trainings, all the big ones. Worked with Cole, worked with Jeremy, worked with Eli, like all the people. Um, Over the next, I guess, 8 or 9 months, I would say, until I got onto Bastion's team, and
yeah,
then obviously you and I kind of started in, I think it was about February of
yeah,
this year.
yeah. Coach Bastion's team, for many of you that may not know, Bastion's team, Bastion's slot, coached him for probably about 6 weeks, 6 weeks, and then he pulled the plug on it. Um,
Stupid.
but I think their close rate, I think you guys, what did you guys do? I don't want to say it. What did you guys do?
Team wide, over the 6 weeks, we easily doubled, maybe even tripled.
Yeah.
I personally quadrupled.
You went from dead last to dead first, if I'm not mistaken, in that 6 week period. That,
And yeah, it took 3 weeks, and I
yeah.
was I was top.
Yeah, and then we stopped. And I was like, okay, well, makes no sense to me, but okay, cool. But that's what it is. And this is something I don't want to talk about today about is because things happen. Like this is the game. Like it's volatile. It's as they say, here today, gone tomorrow. It's a volatile world. It's a volatile space. It's a cutthroat industry.
Absolutely.
You imagine, right? A consultant comes in, doubles your close rate in 6 weeks, and then you stop work with them. It makes no sense. No, it makes no sense to logical based people, but
Yeah.
online entrepreneurs, we're not logical based people. We're fucking lunatics at the best of the day. We're fucking half fucking mental, to be quite honest with you. So
Yeah.
that's what happens. That's the reality of this industry. And the only thing that you can have, and this is what I've said to you from the moment I saw you, buddy, the only thing you got that can walk with you is what?
Your
Fuck is called.
skills, your
That's all
reputation.
it is. It's the skills, and it's the skills alone is that's going to put you in the best position, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what it takes. So, give us like a bit of a rundown of kind of when you started all the way up to today. I mean, from early 2022.
Okay.
Why on earth is this person calling me? I even have.
Um, yeah, I mean, early 2022, I was making zero, like literally zero. Getting into like the summer of 2022, I'd probably do anywhere from like 3 to 6K a month, I would say. And
Yeah,
then end of 2022, probably like 4 to maybe 7, maybe.
yeah,
Um, Beginning of 2023, things kind of started shooting up once we started working with you. Till now, I mean, I made like 7, 8K this past weekend alone. So
2 days.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's what it takes. Like, and you kind of remind me of Jimmy. Jimmy Hayes is the exact same. Wasn't really in sales until 6 months ago, and then absolutely shot, you know, a massive amount up, and it's about the skill. I always say to people, like people always bash me about, they're like, no, you gotta find a great offer, you gotta be on a good offer, you can be on a great offer and you can be absolutely garbage.
yeah,
Like you can be on great offers, and here's the other side: you'll be on a great offer for about 7 days until they realize you're full of garbage, and then they'll get rid of you because then they'll bring in someone that is working a better percentage than you, and that's what it is, and that's
that's the
the
game.
that's the key. That's the game. You cannot stay on great offers if you're not worth being in a position. That's just how it works.
Yep.
So we've been seeing a lot of your posts, a lot of your kind of social media stuff. Why why are you bullish on that since the start of the year?
I've been bullish on everything you've told me to do since the start of the year, to put it that way. I mean, you gave that call initially about the 3 R's: the results, the reputation, the relationships. Um, and immediately after that call, I just started implementing what you said and stayed consistent with it, like you said. Um, you said be careful of doing it for a week and then falling off. So I said that was not going to be me. So I've just been consistent with it. And then now I mean, last post got like 74 likes or something. I have multiple hundreds of people watching my stories now, where before it was like 3 or 4 people might get a couple 10 views, whatever.
Yeah. What does that come with? Can I ask? Like, you know, more people seeing your stuff, more people, taking notice, more people associating your name with being in a position where you're doing good numbers and stuff like that. Like, what do you think that gets associated with?
I mean, if you're posting what you're doing and what you're doing is good, then naturally other people who are doing good things are going to come to you and see what you're doing. So,
Yeah. That's how it works. It's the law of attractions, as they say. If you give out good into the world and people know that you do good, guess what's going to come back to you? It's going to be good coming back.
yep.
And if you associate yourself with doing big numbers, people associate that number with you now. And that's what it is. And that's how you get on offers. How many offers have you turned away in the last probably 3 months?
Maybe like 40, 50 at this point.
40 or 50.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Why do you think why do you think 40 or 50 people have offered you a position when everyone is fighting for a position?
I mean, humbly, I'd say that
It's
I'm
not your
nothing
beautiful
special.
hairy chin anyway. That's for
Right.
fucking sure.
You keep telling me to shave it off. I'd say humbly, like, there's nothing special about me. But I'd say maybe the one thing that I do that not a lot of people do is I stay consistent and I just do the work. And it seems maybe overly simplistic to a lot of people. Lots of people will come to me and like say, how do I post? Like, what do I do? This, that, the other. Ultimately, it's just you do it.
Yeah.
Like, quit being a wuss and just do the work. That's all it takes.
Yeah. I had my videographer today and we were shooting content and he said to me, "Do you know what I love about you, Bill?" And I was like, "Ah, oh, come on, tell me. I need to know." And he said to me, "Do you know what I love about you? You're a one hit wonder. Meaning, like, we do one shoot, one shot, it's done." I'm like, "Do you know why, buddy? Because like, if I get into the kind of, oh, how did I look there? How did that sound there? I didn't really pronounce that word there as perfect as what tends to happen is you over communicate, you over explain things, you over complicate things, and then that one reel, which should have took 36 minutes or 36 seconds, ends up being 36 minutes of you trying to make it perfected, trying to make it try to make it perfect. Yeah. So people understand, like, you knew what I said there, but I went back 3 times to make sure that word was right. And if I'm in my head, I'm like, I don't speak the best. And people don't
You
know
don't
that
have
about me.
to.
People don't know that about me. People don't know that I mumble up my words sometimes, because I just keep powering through, like a politician, you just keep going and keep going and keep going. It's just solely based on volume.
Yep.
That's how the game works. If you're constantly in people's face, if you're constantly doing the right things, you're constantly making sales, you're constantly collecting money for cash or collecting money for cash, collecting cash for businesses. That's how you get noticed and that's how you get headhunted. And that's something that you do every single week,
Yeah.
and that's the important part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this would be the place to say the name, but like I was just telling you, I got reached out to by that guy. Like,
Yeah, that's how it works.
never in the world would I have expected that.
Yeah.
So, wow.
And it's important because, like, if you constantly do good stuff, and this is something that I've always experienced, if you constantly produce and you constantly tell people that you produce, what's going to happen is that people just notice that you're producing. I look, I speak my shit all the time, as you know, and
Yep.
I'm not afraid to say that. I'm Irish, so we always like take the piss, and we always like to press buttons of people's. But I also do one thing, and that's one thing alone, and I back it up every single day you
Yep.
know. And you can't talk the amount of shit. You can't walk with the amount of swagger and bravado that I have every single day if you can't back it up. And that's what you have now. And that's the idea. And it's a constant state of self improvement because you jumped in the elite group the other day and you were like, just closed all this at the weekend. And then I jumped on a call and I got this objection and I got stumped. And that's
Yep.
that humbleness, that's that idea of I don't want to get high on my own supply so I can keep training and keep developing and keep pushing. I was up this morning at 6 a.m. this morning studying. You know, people don't see that because I don't post it because it's my time to for me to develop. You
Yep.
know, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to keep going and keep pushing.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
What do you think has kind of been the big kind of turner? I know you've kind of worked with some of the bigger names, and you know, I'm friends with all of them. Largely, I have a lot of respect for Cole. You know, someone that has done a really, really big amount, not necessarily in the sales conundrum, but I feel as a businessman, I don't think there's
Yep.
anyone better. I think Eli in itself is so fucking excellent at what he does, that it's hard to replicate it because he is so fucking great at what he does. So it's hard to kind of
Yeah.
it's hard to kind of articulate it to give it back to simple minds like mine. And then Jeremy is Jeremy. So I appreciate all of them. Like, what do you think you've kind of what do you think has kind of really turned the screw, do you feel, like in terms of like having all that education and you know really kind of being able to piece it together over the last kind of 90 to 120 days as such?
Yeah. Um, it's a good question. I guess what really turned the screw for me, I felt like I knew how to objection handle. I knew how to do all the different parts of the call, how to use tonality, how to use NLP, like this, that, the other. I had all the quote unquote tactics.
Mm,
Um, but when I came to you, I just wasn't really getting the results that I felt like those tactics should be yielding.
sure.
Um, so I think it was really just like the no BS that is
Mm,
objection box. Like both you and everybody that you have on the team and everybody you bring in the community, like you don't need all the fancy stuff. You just need to do the thing and you need to do it consistently and do it every
yeah,
day. Do it while you're in the
yeah,
shower and do it like all the time. And then through doing that and having that simplicity, you gain a certain level of confidence that I think was missing before.
yeah. Hormozy says you outwork your insecurities. You outwork your insecurities by showing that you have undeniable results. Something around this kind of a thing. But I've kind of probably made my own with saying what I just said. But yeah, and it's really important because like you could have all the tools in your fucking belt buckle, and you're looking at this house and you're saying to yourself, how the fuck do I build this house? I got all these tools. I have everything here, which you probably add, and then you're saying to yourself, but I still don't know how to use the stuff.
Yep.
I think that's what's really, really important about the objection box. And people always say, yeah, but you keep beating your own drum. I will beat the drum until I beat everyone's head with it. Because like it's not just a case of having information. You know, it's not just a
Right.
case of having all of this great training. There's going to come a time when you say to yourself, look, I have all of these great ingredients in front of me, but I still don't know how to bake a cake.
Yep.
And that's what I think, you know, we do the best, you know. That's what I honestly feel that we bring and provide the industry the best is yes, you might have an idea of what you're doing, but having an idea of how to bake a cake and actually building one that actually, you know, makes you a Michelin star restaurant is two
Exactly.
different things, you know.
An analogy I use all the time on sales calls, little nugget for anyone watching, is like you can look anything up online. All the information is there.
My
If you
course is
look up,
online if anybody wants to go and pirate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like you can find a blueprint to like a Ford truck, right? Or Range Rover or whatever. And you can watch all the videos you want about how to weld and how to, upholster seats and like all the different parts that you need.
Yeah.
But imagine how difficult it's going to be when the time comes to actually build it on your own. Versus if you have someone come alongside you and like hand you a nut, hand you a wrench, and be like, hey, put this thing here, turn it. And
Mm.
then the next step, and then the next step. And it's ultimately just going to save you so much time and energy. And
Yeah.
those are the things that you can never get back.
Do you enjoy sales now?
I do. Some people I don't particularly enjoy talking to, but I enjoy the game.
Yeah. What do you enjoy about the game? Like what is the game in your eyes?
The game to me is just growth. It's constantly pushing for the next step, the next level, um, and just learning and doing the thing, which to me is so simple. It makes it fun. You can actually
Mm.
focus on the things you enjoy.
What do you enjoy?
Um, right now, I really enjoy the game. I think that might be a reason that I'm maybe finding a bit more success than I once did. I really enjoy the game more than I used to.
Mm.
And then when I'm not playing the game, I'm hanging out with my wife and my kitten and my family, and Like I'm about to head up to Austin to go visit my family and spend a couple of days with them and just take some time off.
Yeah. You come to Austin in September?
You know it.
Shit. Well, we brought it all the way to Texas so you could come. So
That's right.
it would be fairly weird for you not to be able to be at the event. But anyway, so it'll be
Absolutely.
all your family in Austin, or where are they?
Some's in Austin. Some of them are on the East Coast in Virginia. Some of them are kind of near here.
Yeah.
So kind of all over the place.
Very good. Very good. Let me ask you this. I know you said the kind of no bullshit approach has kind of really helped you and stuff like that. Um, what else do you think moves the needle inside? Like, what else do you attribute, like, the results that we keep ramming down people's throat every day with? Like, what do you think? Because I can't put my own finger on it, to be quite honest with you. Do you know what I mean? I look at what we've done and what we continue to do every single day, and I'm like, fuck, if I could only bottle this, then I can do a lot more with it. So I think I love listening to great people, and I love listening to people trying to explain how they've had some element of success in their life. And Drake says to me, not says to me, Drake says, and he said in a speech one time, you're saying, he said, Drake, how did you get wisdom from Drake? Drake is a clever boy. He said, when people ask him how does he have continue to have success, he says, I can't articulate it, and I can't articulate it. I just keep doing what I'm doing, and it just keeps reaping the rewards. So I can't tell you what we do. I can't pinpoint it to an actual thing. All I'm doing is the volume of all of it, and that's what it's producing. I can't say it's this or I can't say it's that. It's just a combination of everything. So what would it be in your opinion? That's my opinion, but what's it in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like trying to pinpoint it would probably do a bit of a disservice to anyone who's trying to figure it out, and even to you. Like anything in life, there's so many factors that go into it, whether it be, like in this case, whether it be like that no BS approach, whether it be like the community of people that you brought together who are real A players, have been through a bunch of training, like this is not their first stop more often than not. Um, and I mean, just the way that you run things and the way that you live your life and you teach people to live. Like it's not just sales, I think is what it is. Like a
Mm.
lot of other programs I've been through, you do sales, you do your thing. Um, Whereas here it's a bit more, as cliche as it sounds, it's a bit more of like a family, right? Like we hop on sometimes and like you teach about a bunch of stuff, and then other times we hop on and you're just slapping us around because we're not doing what we need to do. Like I don't particularly see that in other places.
No,
My
you
fire
won't.
alarm is going off.
Oh shit, your wife
Give
is
me one
cooking, is
sec.
she? Yeah, go for it.
Oh, it sounds like she got it. Okay, cool.
She got it. And I think that's important too because I've always been of an opinion, care about people.
Mhm.
I always said to people like if I always showed you know who and what we are and where we are and what we want to do, it will always come back to you. Take care. There was a great kind of thing called profit over people or something, or people
Yep.
over profit or something like
People
that.
over profit.
Yeah, and I always looked at that little statement. I was like, that makes so much sense. And that's how we've always lived our lives. That's how we've always kind of, because I was a personal trainer before this. Um, I've helped people back from suicide that I don't talk about,
Yep.
but I just talked about it now. Or we've helped the lady back out of a wheelchair, and I'm just taking it off my head. But like, I've always been in an opinion, or I've always had opinions of like wanting people to be successful because that's the right thing for them to have. And I get frustrated with you guys sometimes. I get frustrated with people inside sometimes because I'm like in my hands, and in my head, I'm thinking to myself, if you could just do what I need you to do, you'll have what you're wanting. And you see it every day. Like we hold a very high standard,
Yep.
and I demand a high standard. I demand it because I know what it takes. You
Right.
know, I entered into sales in 2021.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? January 2021, as a full-time sales professional. I started this business in 6th of June 2022. So it's all quite new and quite relative. It's not something that has been there for 10 years,
Yep.
but you have to have standards in yourself. You have to have standards in everything that you do. But that's why we're going to be bringing, we're going to do 75 hard inside soon when I come back from holidays. Um, because I want to go to holidays and have a beer with my wife. Um, but I think that, like, I come from that type of discipline. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Take out the fluff, take out the puff, have just clear understandings and clear, targets that you have to hit every day. As I
Yeah.
said to you guys yesterday, like, know your numbers, because the numbers that are there, they're there for a reason, you know?
Yeah. I think that might be, I mean, that might be another reason that I've had the success that I've had over the past little while. I don't know if you knew this. When I was a kid, I was massively into two things. I was swimming and piano. And I would literally practice piano for 3 hours a day, every day, Christmas Day, Thanksgiving, like every day. And then swimming, same thing. I would go to 3 hours of practice in the morning and 3 hours of practice at night every day. Christmas, I only went once, just in the morning. Thanksgiving, just go once in the morning. But literally every single day from the time I was 3 years old until I was 18.
Wow.
And I mean, I think that's the game that you have to play. Like, if you want to be good at, like, whether you're losing weight, whether you're learning a skill, whether you're, trying to do something different, it just takes time and it takes consistent effort.
Yeah.
Because,
If
like
you
Alex
can,
Hormozy says, like, it goes from a game of being better to a game of outlasting. And if you can outlast, you're going to win every time.
yeah. Yeah, and it's important what you just said, and like people don't understand that. Like for you to be an efficient swimmer, like it's not a case of just throwing you in the pool and now like it's hours upon hours upon hours upon
Yeah.
hours. Like I've been on this journey, this entrepreneurial journey for nearly 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
I've only had success, real big success in the last 2 years. But if I stopped after 8 years,
Never would have known.
I would never know. I've never made a couple of million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all that effort, that commitment, that drive, it's like pushing a ball up a hill. It's like pushing a big, stone ball up a hill. There's only two things that are going to happen: is you're going to get to the top of the hill with massive calves, or you're going to hit a divot and it's going to fall down, and next minute the hill that you're pushing up becomes a landslide and you're going to the other side. So that's how it works. That's the consistency and the determination that you have to live by. And I think that's a big part for you then. You've had that discipline early in your life.
Hmm.
You've had that set standard for yourself in your life. And so have I, because I've had high level sports in my life, all my life, military in my life, 4.5 years,
Yep.
building a business in London, being consistent. I've built that, consistency, and you've done it as well in your muscles and in your head and in your way of living your life. So that's makes a lot of sense to me now why you've had success quickly, which
Yep.
is good, which is
It's
good.
fun.
Yeah. I also, like I said to the guys yesterday, like if you're not where you need to be, you don't deserve 6 days. You
Yep.
know, you don't deserve 2 days, I should say. You don't deserve 2 days of rest. You don't deserve 2 days of a weekend. You don't deserve the fuck off and leave your phone at home and not worry about things. If you're not making the money that you want to make, that you should be making, that you can make, and that you should be like that you can desire, I genuinely think that you don't deserve 2 days off in your life.
Yep.
People are always like, yeah, but I got my wife and I got my kids and I got this, I got that. No, what you got, buddy, is you got stress, you got anxiousness, you got, depressed states, you got, anger because you're not able to provide. And I used to be like that,
Yep.
when I used to take 2 days off, I used to be itching to get back because I knew that I wasn't able to provide what I wanted to provide. So even when I was spending time with my family, it wasn't quality time
Right.
because it can't be quality time if you know deep down that you're not providing all that you can provide. It can't be quality.
Yep.
How's your time with your wife over the last couple of months been? Has it been
Well,
better or you've been always cool?
I mean, we've always been cool. She's been very supportive throughout everything. She's fucking amazing. Um, I mean, she was fully supportive when I got into sales. I just straight up quit my job and like threw myself into the fire, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, let's do it if you think it's the best way." So she's been very supportive in that way, very trusting. She always, you know, always trusts me to make the best decision, even with like investing with you. Like, so over the past couple of months, there have definitely been times where she's told me like, stop saying the word tracks while you're in the shower, or like she says, you're starting to sound more like that Irish guy, or different things like that. So in that sense, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah.
There's definitely been some late nights where I'm working up until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. There's been weekends like this past weekend where I just worked straight through the weekend all day. So, I mean, there's seasons, right?
Yeah.
I think in life there's going to be seasons of feast, there's going to be seasons of famine, and you got to just make it work throughout those. Take advantage when you've got the feast and work your ass off when you got the famine. So
The
I'm
time that
starting.
you have now, like the time that you spend with your wife now, is it? Because I know I'm gonna give you an example. So the time that I spend with my kids now, the time that I spend with my partner now, I'm not worried anymore. You know,
Yeah.
I said this on a bit of content today, and hopefully it'll make sense for you why I've asked that. I spent from 18 to 28 in my life, that period of 10 years, in a constant state of fear, constant state of insecure, a constant state of, not knowing what's coming next. And when you don't know how you're making your next dollar and you don't know where it's coming from, that always made me completely, fearful, scared, anxious. It made me completely. I used to have this kind of build up in my system. I
Yep.
used to get it when I was in the military, and then I got it then when I was starting off in fitness for the first 3 years. After 3 years, then it went away because I had consistency. Um, but you would get it when you lose clients for a little bit, and then you gain it back, and then you're on that roller coaster. I
Yep.
can honestly say from probably 29, I don't have that in my system anymore.
Yep.
Zilch, nada. Because I know now that I've made enough money that I could literally, live off interest. I have a skill now that I could literally just plug and play into any company, any business, any fucking industry and print
Yep.
money. And all that went away just because of the skill. So why I
Yep.
bring this back to you is the time that I spend with my family now, the time that I spend going away places or doing things, even with my partner. Although I look at it and I say to my, like, we booked a holiday to go away for 2 weeks, and my wife's like, it's going to cost us 7 or 8 grand. In my head, some days I'm like, I still think to her, like, fucking hell, we're broke. Like, we're like, and then I have to snap out. I'm like, no, we're not, because it's so new in your life. It's so raw in your life that
Yep.
you can't associate yourself with it. So the reason I ask is because when I kind of hit 28, 29, now I'm 30, nearly 31, like my whole like philosophy of how my, I suppose, energy in my body worked was that it was a constant state of fear, a constant state of I can't go on holidays for too long because I got to come back to work and I got to make sure I can make $1 a pound. But I don't have that anymore. And so my quality of time that I spend with my family or myself, I'm not rushing away from it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not rushing away. So that's why I asked about your like quality time that you spend with your wife
Mm-hmm.
now over the last 12 weeks. Has it become better?
Yeah.
Or is it kind of like, do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah, it's definitely better. It's just like you said now, instead of going away and being worried about coming back and being worried about the next dollar and the next deal and like how soon we have to come back, how much we can spend, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's just like I know when I work, I'm gonna make a shit ton of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So
There's not like that, are there? There's nothing like that amount of certainty in yourself now. I think that makes you really good too. I think that makes people really good too. Knowing that, like, as long as I can just speak and I have internet, I'm good. You know what I mean?
which is
'Cause you,
wild. Like what
yeah,
other
it is
time in
one.
the world has that been the case?
No, never. Could you send me, like, I seen a picture of you put something up recently, or you sent it to me, or I can't remember how it was called. You're like at the cinema on a Tuesday morning. I was like,
Yeah.
what's this kid doing? I'm going to punch this kid in the back of the head. But it makes sense now. because
Yeah.
it's like I can take a Tuesday. I can take a Tuesday if I like. Why? Because I don't. It doesn't matter because I can
Right.
just make it back anyway, whether that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or I can do 2 hours on Sunday and make back what I was going to make on Tuesday anyway. And it
Yep.
just dawned on me when I saw that, and I was like, when I saw it, I was like, the kid is on the way up. Why is he taking a day off? Why is he going to the fucking? I didn't even know what you went to see. What did you go and see?
I think it was
It's
Guardians Volume 3.
some fucking lunatic like this, and I was like, and then it dawned on me. I was like, it makes sense, you know. And it's also allowing yourself to have that, you know,
Hmm.
because when you're in school, you can't do that. When I was in a gym, the thought of me going to the cinema of a Tuesday morning instead of pounding the streets and fucking, being in the gyms, spotting people,
Yeah.
and potentially picking up a client was like just it felt like I was cheating myself and my family if I was doing it,
Right.
But I can't imagine it is now. I haven't been to the cinema on a Tuesday in a long, long time. Maybe I need to go back.
It's pretty
Shit.
sweet. There's nobody there. It's just me. Whole theater.
You got a private theater, yeah. What does your
Yeah.
wife do? Does your wife in sales or what does she do?
No, she's a middle school choir teacher.
As well, is that how you all connected?
We connected in college and we were cast as lovers in an opera, actually. We were like the two main characters. And so
Shit.
we just hit it off from there.
Hit it off. You've been married a while, have you? How long have you been married?
Just had our 2 year anniversary.
Shit. How old are you?
24.
24. I had a guy that actually comes out and cleans my windows. And he's married. He's married as well. He put had a ring on. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? I was like, how old are you? He's like, 23. I was like, you're not married, are you? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. And that's a big thing there, is it? In the US, like getting married young.
Yeah, it
Is
depends
it
on where
still
you
as
are.
prevalent?
Yeah, we were in a bit of a smaller town, so it's definitely more prevalent. People get married at like 17, 18,
That's
19.
crazy.
Yeah, and then have like 3 kids by the time they're our age. So it's
That's
crazy.
crazy, man. Yeah, that's crazy. But it's also great, you know,
Hmm.
because you grow together. You'll go
Yeah.
through like seasons with your partner. Because I've been with my partner with 10 years.
Yep.
And you grow in seasons. She when I met her, I was in the military, then I was in a
Yep.
PT, then we had our kids, and now I'm like the business owner, and she's been on that journey with me. And it's also still trying to find your way with who you are now, with also that relationship too. Because
She's
what you
completely different from me. Yeah.
yeah, but as you grow and as you keep making more money and as you become a leader in yourself and leading other people, then what you will be in your relationship is going to be different too. And then
It
it's
already has
also how does
changed.
yeah, and that's what it is. And it's always like, how does she make sense of that too? And how does she connect with that too? So yeah, that's always interesting for sure. I suppose the big question I want to ask now is like, what's next? Like, what's the big goal? What's the big kind of outcome that you want to have leading into the end of the year?
I always tell people that my goal is to suck less than I did yesterday. That's I've got like the big year goals and of like what I want to make, who I want to be working with, and kind of what I want life to be. But ultimately, it boils down to like I want to be less worse than I was the day before, whatever that looks like. And that's kind of what has allowed me to get into like the position where I am now, where I can bring in 250K over a weekend. And like those opportunities just pop up and I'm able to take them. And my skill now has allowed me to do that. So that's kind of the goal is just keep doing that because it's been working. So now that I've gotten a little bit of traction, I want to keep doing what's working and just keep taking it up to the next level. So
Very good. Very good. Well, let me ask you this, because I know that your wife was supportive of you coming and working with me, which I love it. And
yeah,
I appreciate her, even though I've not spoken to her. You'll have to bring her out to Texas and we'll have to say hello.
absolutely.
Um, I always leave the floor to you guys because, this is your call. It's not my call. It's only me helping you guys as much as I possibly can. What advice would you give to people? Like, what do you think people need to hear? Like, what do you think people need in their life, to put them in a position where they're taking back control? What do you think?
It's funny you ask. My wife asked me what question I thought you would ask me to close things off, and I said this one.
All right.
So I'm prepped for it.
You're prepped.
May-
Shit. I'm gonna ask another one then.
um, My advice would be to sack up and just like do the thing that you know is going to get you to where you want to go. It like life is as simple as that. Like if you have a problem, find a solution, you go for it. And like if you don't, then I can guarantee you're just going to be in the exact same place where you were before. So you've got to make the decision that puts yourself and your family in the best position to actually go and achieve the things that you want to achieve in life. Because like money's going to come, opportunities are going to come, it's all going to go, but ultimately, like the time is the one thing that you can't get back. So the time that you're wasting just kind of looking at things and planning things and thinking about how should I go about doing this or what's the best way to do that, like you're never getting that back. So just do the thing and do it again and do it again and do it again.
I'm going to ask a different question then because you were prepared. Where do you think the state of the union is going to be in 6 or 12 months? I mean, like for salespeople.
I mean, I'm already seeing it. Even very high quality salespeople are without offers right now, and it's only going to get worse.
Shit. Who do you know is without an offer? Shit. Who do you know is that high quality without an offer?
I know a few people who are,
Wow.
I wouldn't say like top quality, but they're
Yeah, yeah.
getting there. They're working on it.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
even those people are without offers.
What do you think that is? Like, what do you think is going on in the industry that's, you know, putting people in that position?
I think everyone's just getting smarter, both businesses and consumers. Like the coaching industry and high ticket has like been around for a while now. Everyone and their cousin and their aunt, their uncle has taken a course or a coaching or mentorship of some sort. And more often than not, they haven't necessarily gotten the results that they've got. So they're more skeptical and less trusting. And everyone's kind of lost money on stuff. And so now it's less about like selling the hopes and dreams and more about helping people get out of their own way. More often than not on sales calls is what I've seen. And so that's a very difficult thing to do because you're kind of moving more into the psychology and coaching and that side of things. It's not as much just like here's the shiny object. Do you want it?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Do you know what my opinion is?
What's your opinion?
I want to tell you.
Yes, I do.
You're dying to know. My opinion is this: there's more people there's more people being trained to be a high ticket sales closer than they are sales tickets offers. The reason
Yep.
being is because people see it as a soft touch. Why? Because
It's up.
it's a highly skilled skill. But the problem is the demand is too much, meaning there's too much influx coming in, and the leads and quality of other offers aren't actually there.
Yep.
That's a big issue. And as more and more high profile people are going to throw a lot of ads into it and a lot of cash. So my team sent me Iman Ghazi is stepping into the space.
I saw that.
I don't know if that's true. Is that true?
I
Who
don't know.
knows? Imagine if it does. Like he'll bring hundreds of thousands of people into this industry.
Yep.
Where are they all going to go? Do you know what I mean? Like the pool isn't big. You know, it's not a massive pool. Like everybody roughly as LinkedIn first connection, second connection, there's probably about 5 connections out in this industry that people know each other from, you know. So
Yep.
and it highlights for me, buddy, about being excellent at what you do. You're talking about, you know, above average salespeople being without jobs. That's what you just said.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's going to be the norm
Yep.
over the next 12 months. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. Average salespeople who close at 20 to 35% are going to be the norm without offers.
Yep.
I guarantee it. Because the other side of this, and we just break down the numbers, Christian, if I'm a business owner, which I am,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say I'm selling a 10K offer,
Yep.
and I got 3 closers,
Mm-hmm.
and one closer is closing at 45%, one closer is closing at 36%, and the other closer is closing at 21%. Now they're 3 of them are getting, let's say they get 10 calls a week. That gives me 30 calls. I know that if I continue to give the third guy the 10 calls, I'm only going to collect on two. So what is going to happen is they're going to get rid of that guy.
Yep.
They're going to bring a triager in to triage for the other
Yep.
two guys. And then those guys are going to have the best quality of leads, which is going to give you the best ROI moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's what
Exactly.
people don't actually understand. And that's what people don't actually want to realize. It's like, how do I put myself in a position where I am absolutely irreplaceable in this software? Not meaning like I'm God's gift or X, Y, and Z, meaning like if I leave or if you ask me to leave, it's going to hurt the business for a period of time.
Yep.
Yes, there's issues with, personalities and X, Y, and Z, and that's in every industry. But if you're looking at your skill set as a way of the reason why you have to leave an organization, then you ain't going back into a great organization. As I said
Yeah.
to the guys yesterday in Elite, you're on a good offer. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. You go from a good offer, who shit the bed or whatever, you go to a bad offer. You don't go from a good offer to a good offer because the three reasons is that nobody knows who you are, which is your reputation is garbage. Your results are fucking pretty bang average. And your relationships that you built and that you fortitude and that you poured into aren't enough for you to be pulled upwards.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen here now. So that's a big issue. That's going to be, state of play for the next 12, 18 months for a lot of people. There's not
Sure.
going to be enough offers and good offers. And the second issue is that there's going to be so much competition that you're literally going to have to fight at least 5 people for one place.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
I've got
That's
a
is
I've
what's
got a
going to
buddy
happen.
who's a setter on an offer. It's a team of three people, literally three, two closers and a setter. They do 400, 500 grand a month.
That's what I'm saying.
They tried to bring on a third closer. He lasted a month and then he was gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like like we're cool at that. Like
Yeah.
400, 500K a month. Like there's no need to go to a million or whatever. Like this million kind of a month gets thrown out like it's like bang out of a like it's the most common thing in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know the intricacies of how a company has to operate to break 7 figures a month?
Yeah.
Like that stress, that anxiousness, that worry, that payday that needs to be paid out on that.
Yeah.
You look at
Cole
business
needs to
owners, you're
make
like,
like 1.5 just to pay his people.
what's that?
Cole needs to make like 1.5 just to pay the team. Like
That's what I'm
it's
saying. Wild. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. And like it's not for everybody, and that's the
yeah.
reality. And you think of it as well, you start having kids, you start having differences in your life, you start having different interests and stuff like that. It's all well and good for a 25-year-old, 32-year-old, 40-year-old with no kids, you know, nothing really in his life other than his business. But for a large amount of us, like we got kids, we got wives, we've got like aspirations to, not work 7 days a week for
Right.
15 hours a day. So that's going to be an issue, and it's the only thing that's going to solve the issue for a lot of salespeople is one thing and one thing alone, and that's how good you are.
Yep.
That's the only thing that solves you. That's the only thing that's going to protect you. Because the other side of it, let's say you do have great relationships, you get in a good offer, but if you can't walk the walk and talk the talk, and you can't actually deliver, I don't care how much I like you. If you start costing me money and you start costing my relationship with this company, you're gone. That's how it works. People
Make
don't
it
realize
personal.
it. They don't want
It's
to know that.
business.
It's just business, unfortunately. If you start costing the business money, guys, you just can't be there long enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But then the other
So,
side of it is if you make them a shit ton of money, then it becomes personal and then you
correct,
get to be good friends.
correct, and then you actually build a relationship, and then that's how you get known and you get established.
Yep.
But if you're not good and you're not in a position where people know who you are and you're not actually providing a tremendous amount of value, then
Yep.
you're toast. Buddy, I appreciate you. We've spent an hour here. Imagine that. Shit. One of the longest interviews we've ever had. So we just went back and forth, which was awesome, which I love. I appreciate you. Keep doing your thing. Keep shining, keep leading the way, keep showing the guys what it takes. Keep having that self-discipline, keep providing, a tremendous amount of value to all of us. And we may run this back in 6 months and we'll see where you are then, if that works. All right. I
Let's do
appreciate you,
it.
buddy. Go and be you, and I'll see you soon. All right. Everybody, if you have any questions, issues, concerns in terms of the objection box, what we do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, how we're you know, turning these guys into savages, please do come let us know. More than happy to help you guys, more than happy to give you the right goods and steer you in the right direction so you can get to where you want to go, like Christian and all the rest of the guys inside. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Love and respect. Adios. Go and have a good day. Make some money. Bye bye.